I went to see Pirates this week.
Yeah.
These two girls behind me would not fucking stop talking. Well, during the week, we have to kind of see a movie between 5 and 6 so that I can get to work on time,
Yeah.
And then during the weekends, if we see a movie, we usually see the early show, and there's usually not a lot of people there, 10:30, 11, But this time it was like a 4:30 or 5 show or something. There were all kinds of people there.
Did you tell them to shut the hell up or anything? No altercations?
I was this close.
What were they now I'm curious what they were talking about. Was it just stupid shit, or was it about the movie?
Oh, it was stupid coffee house shit. It's not fucking social hour. It's fucking Pirates.
So, don't get between Andy and his Pirates.
Yeah, arg.
I think that should be a thing now. Every time we mention Pirates, you have to go arg.
Arg.
Because we're gonna get some pirate talk on this show.
Arg.
Yeah, we got 2 pirate games to talk about.
Arg.
Yeah. You are doing very well so far.
One of those pirate games I'm excited about.
It's going to be so distracting, but I think it's going to be really hilarious.
I'm going to try and sneak the word pirate into everything.
Arg.
See how long you can keep this up.
This is rough so far.
Oh, I love it. It's going to be great.
Can I
Good
bank
show.
him?
Good show.
Can I bank him? It'd be okay, I owe you 5 args. Arg, 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 arg.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
Because I think it'd be more funny if you don't say it for a while and then just randomly you just bust out 5 of them all in a row.
Maybe I'll even make an arg song.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Brian Guy and His Super Friends. I'm your host, Brian Labick. Joining me for this episode, we have the triumphant return of Jeff Vingen.
Hi.
Took you a minute there. I thought you were just going to laugh and let it go, and that was going to be it. And he's pretty much here every week now. Andy Stolz.
Arg! Vasty landlubbers!
We might get a lot of that in this episode, I think. All right, so I promise this is the last time that I'll bring it up, but we are at episode 98. So I'm going to say this is your last chance to try to give us any suggestions for topics or questions that you would like us to get in for the 100th. You can hit us up on Facebook, search for Brian Guy and Super Friends, go to www.facebook.com/BrianGuySuperFriends, or you can hit us up on Twitter at BGSuperFriends, or hit us up by email by sending it to BrianGuySuperFriends@gmail.com. So this is the last, hurrah for that kind of thing. We're going to be recording probably in 2 weeks, I think. So I might make one final effort and push for comment suggestions and all that stuff on the Facebook page. So if you see that post, feel free to comment on there or send us a message. One of the two will work. But yeah, otherwise we're just going to roll with what we got, which right now is close to nothing. Andy, I think, has a little bit of stuff, but
I do, yeah.
So, we'll roll with that and whatever else we can come up with in the time being and see what happens. So for this recording, at the time of when we're recording, the Electronic Entertainment Expo, or E3, is wrapping up. So if you're not a gamer and you are unfamiliar with what that is, this is the event where video game developers and publishers will announce and showcase all their upcoming games. I've tried to cover this event 2 times in the past, on other years past, to varying degrees of success. I think the first time Jeff was actually on that one. I think it was me, Jeff, and Ian. Last year, we tried to talk about it. Ian and Romano were on, and I felt like that one hit pretty flat. Ian was kind of all over the place. Romano didn't know what the hell was going on, so that was a really fun episode. So if you want to listen to what I would consider probably a train wreck, you can check that one out. So this is our 3rd attempt, so hopefully we can actually make it sound like we know what we're doing for this one and have a little bit smoother time trying to do this. The only way I can think to do this and try to keep some sort of a structure instead of just going all over the map with stuff like this is to go through the different briefings and talk about sort of what caught our attention for each one. So the big briefings that the events occurred and happened at E3, they were held by EA, Microsoft, Bethesda, Ubisoft, Sony, and Nintendo. So that's where we're going to go. Those are our bullet points, and we'll just kind of try to freeform it around their briefings and discussions and see what happens. So, starting with the EA event, was there anything for you guys that caught your attention from EA? Anybody can chime in. Unless you want me to call on you. We can make it like school.
Well, I mean, I think the obvious choice is Battlefront 2.
Yes. Do you want to elaborate? What did you see? What did you like?
Man, the graphics just look unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're trying to right what was wrong with Battlefront 1, which is nice. Because let's admit it, Battlefront 1 was pretty flawed when it came out.
It wasn't necessarily flawed. I think it was just like a slimmer game. Like, there wasn't too much to do. Multiplayer felt pretty solid, but
yeah, it seems like they pushed it out to try and beat the movie whenever it came out. So I mean, they kind of had to get it out when they did, and I think that's one of the biggest problems was that it wasn't a complete game, and it took having a season pass in order to have the full game that everybody was expecting.
Right.
And I don't think a lot of people like that. I definitely didn't. I still don't own the season pass on Xbox. I do have the full version on PC now, but I still haven't played any of that content.
Yeah, I was actually, because I bought the game when it came out, and then I was waiting for the season pass to go on sale. The season pass never went on sale. Last year at Christmas, what I ended up doing was they had the Ultimate Edition, which is the full game or the game and all the DLC. Like, you get a season pass basically with it, so you get all the DLC when you buy the Ultimate Edition. That was on sale for $20 when the season pass was still $50. So it's like, I don't care if I'm buying the game again if I'm saving $30.
Right.
So that's what I ended up doing.
Do you have to start everything over again though?
No, I mean, it recognized all my saves and stuff like that.
So it's locked your EA account then?
Well, it's still technically the same game because you have a disc, like the Battlefield. I bought a disc, the physical disc copy.
Okay, I see.
So it's the Battlefield disc, and then they just give you a code.
Front.
Battlefront.
You play too much Battlefield. That's the problem.
Well, they sound very similar. They're made by the same company, so it's
pretty much the same engine, same everything.
So yeah, I had the Battlefront disc, and I used that for the game, and then all it came with was a code to redeem the season pass. So you're basically buying the same disc again, and then downloading the season pass content. So yeah, that worked out that all my stuff carried over and was still there. But I know what they talked about. One of the things they're changing is that because of the kickback against the season pass and people not wanting to pay for all the extra content and stuff like that, it really segregated the audience for the game. Like, you had certain people that only played the main maps, and there were some people that had
very core stuff.
I agree.
Yeah.
I can't even join now. I try to log into the game and I try to play Hoth. Nobody wants to play Hoth at all.
Yeah, the people that and it's not some people only have certain sections of DLC. They don't have all of it, so they can only play certain packages and not everything. So it really, and like Jeff said, it's really hard if you play it now to try to, at least on Xbox, to try to get some sort of full game together on specific maps that you want to play.
I could only imagine doing like a 1v1 sniper battle on Hoth.
Oh my god.
A huge map, you're both scoping, trying to find each other. That just sounds awful.
I think the coolest thing would be if there was some kind of mod and they had like Battlefield controlled characters with guns shooting stormtroopers, and that'd be fun.
That would be cool, like a matchup, Battlefield versus Battlefront.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
Yeah. I mean, it's all under the same company. If they want to do their matchups or mashups, they could.
That would be neat.
But yeah, sort of like what the season
pass.
It
sounds like they're going to move to that. Yeah, they're going to move to a free DLC model.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's mainly because of the feedback they got from everybody, but two, they don't want to segregate their audience for this one. They want everybody to be able to access the same stuff all the time. So that's a big thing. Some free content updates as far as maps and characters and stuff like that. So that's going to be big.
Yeah.
I wonder how much of it will be free, if any, if all. I mean, is all of it going to be, or is it going to be?
It might just be like one of those microtransaction things where you can buy experience and maybe like guns and stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
So
how
it'd be
had like the silver and
sort of a GTA kind of model then. In
Yeah.
a sense.
Yeah, I mean,
Where
most games
almost
are using
everything's
that now,
free.
so yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna just. This is one of the with Andy. This is one of the games that really caught my attention. So this is one of the ones I actually tried to look into and dig into research and stuff. So
I mean, out of everything they announced, this will probably be their top seller. I mean, besides
Yeah.
the expansion stuff for Battlefield 1, like the night modes and stuff. But
yeah, that actually looked kind of cool too. But I haven't been playing Battlefield 1 too often recently. Plus, I mean, that's the expansion for Battlefield 1 is actually going to be something you will have to pay for. So I don't know if I want to pay the $15 or $20 to be able to just access that stuff. I don't know. But for Battlefront 2, we're going to get all eras, all 3 eras. So that's prequel, original, and sequel trilogy. All that stuff will be playable. Space battles, they're fully integrating instead of just being one of the downloadable content packages like it was in Battlefront 1. We're getting a full-on single-player campaign, which is already looks freaking incredible.
it looks like the single player campaign only is in the current time period, like as in
like
the current movie
Force
time period.
Awakens and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Well, I think I
Whereas-
read that it's supposed to bridge the gap between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens.
Right. And I was kind of hoping that it would somehow be all the way across the entire Star Wars experience. I was excited for that possibility, but
Yeah.
it definitely, I mean, the first announcement kind of proved that it's definitely going to be the time period after Return of the Jedi.
Which, I guess makes sense. If they're crafting a very good character story, you can't have a character that sort of has gone through all 3 of those eras.
Yeah.
And this is the time period that's probably least explained. Like, we still really have no
Right.
idea what happened in that 30-year gap between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. So any more information I can get in that gap, I'm going to eat up.
I wonder if they chose that era because of John Boyega saying that he wished that there was a campaign mode in Battlefront 1. He was a big proponent of that game, and he was like,
Maybe
I really
he can
wish
be
we
in
could
it,
play
too.
campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would, if I were him, I'd lend my voice to it.
Did you guys watch any of the press conference from EA? Or did you just read about or hear about this all later? Because they had
read about it.
Okay, because during the conference, when they went to talk about Battlefront 2, someone was talking about the game, and they actually brought up John Boyega's tweet about where was single player in Battlefront 1 on the screen, and how that got retweeted and became viral for them, and got a lot of fans talking about the game. And he actually sent in a video message saying that Finn and Captain Phasma will be the first free added content to the game as playable characters.
Oh, cool.
So I would imagine if he's a big, behind the game a lot, I would imagine he's going to voice his character for the game, which would be awesome. But yeah, I mean, along with, I think they gave us a trailer, and then they did...
There's a long gameplay video.
Yeah, there's like a 15-minute multiplayer match where they did like the Battle of Theed with different YouTube content creators. They brought them in to let them stream and film their gameplay. So if you want, if you check YouTube, there's probably all kinds of different perspectives of people playing that multiplayer match, and you're just watching their character play it and stuff like that. So I watched a couple. It looks so good. It reminds me a lot of Battlefront 2 for like the original Xbox and PS2, which that game is still fantastic. So yeah, this one has me real hyped.
So we see basically one map in all of the footage, right? I mean, there was really not a whole lot else that was shown off. Any idea if we're going to see, the Gungan battle? And if we're going to be able to play as Gungans, maybe?
I don't know if they go that far.
Can you imagine that out in those fields? How cool that would be.
That would be
the
pretty
giant
cool.
shield.
There's just nothing out there though. Like I can't imagine what you would see besides just an open field.
Yeah, but that'd be
But
so
those
neat.
weird dinosaur critters and those weird plasma balls that they were using would be cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be neat to have the shield up and everybody waiting for them to come down and walk through. That'd be really cool.
Or even the actual arm shields that they had.
Yeah.
To deflect the droids. You were able to play as droids, if I recall, on the old ones.
The bad guy droids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were able to be
can
like this.
here too. right?
Yeah, because the gameplay that they captured was the clone army, like the clone troopers against the droid army. So the separatists were playing as droid characters.
Okay, so you could be a super battle droid.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think you were able to do that in the first one.
Like Battlefront 1 for like this generation of consoles? Or are you talking
PS4? Yeah.
Yeah, no, they weren't. No, it was just Empire and Rebels. That was it, because it was original trilogy era, and that was it.
Okay, that's right. Is this going to be PS4 and Xbox One, or are they gonna
PC as well?
PC? Yes. Okay. Yeah, it'll be everywhere. You'll be able
It'll
to find it
come to Xbox
everywhere.
first through EA Access.
Oh, that's
you also get, as an EA Access member, I think you get 10% off.
Right. Okay. You were part of that at one point, weren't you?
I had it for a month to see what it was like.
You didn't stick with it?
Nah, there's not a whole lot in that list that I'm interested in playing. If there is, I already own it. So.
Yeah. Was it... Now, for that EA Access stuff, is it a rotating list of games? Like every month they sub out some and bring in new ones?
I don't think they've ever removed anything from the vault.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious because I never did the trial or anything for that, so I never actually tried it.
There was something where you could sign up with some soccer team in England and you got a free month of EA Access.
They got to promote all those EA Sports that they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, because FIFA and Madden had real big presences. I think NBA Live, too, for their conference. I didn't really give a shit about any of those games, so I don't really care if we cover or talk about them, so unless you guys want to. I don't know if they caught your attention.
Nah, I
what
haven't played
what
Madden
other games
since
you talking
like 2001.
Like
FIFA,
Madden and
FIFA,
NBA.
Madden, FIFA, and NBA, I think. Because they made a big deal about bringing a story mode into Madden.
What?
Well, last year they did a story mode for FIFA. So apparently that's
what?
like a thing that's happening now. Football games are not enough just to be football games anymore. They have to have some sort of single-player campaign.
So we just like follow a player's career?
Yeah, that seems to be what it is.
Huh. Yeah, it's called Long Shot.
Wait, is that official? I don't know if you're jacking me or not.
That's what it says on the thumbnail here.
Okay.
Madden 18 Long Shot official reveal trailer.
All right.
It's got a guy looking in a window at his reflection.
I'll take it. Like I said, I didn't pay attention to that. I zoned out when that stuff was going on. I was just waiting for Battlefront.
Well, really, I mean, Battlefront was pretty exciting, but then the Anthem looked pretty good too.
Yeah, I was. It looked kind of Destiny-ish.
Yeah, definitely looked like a Destiny ripoff almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they showed, I think, like a teaser trailer for that, and then they actually showed gameplay for the Microsoft event. But yeah, that gameplay stuff looked awesome, like exosuits and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That I think they said were like fully customizable.
Really?
So like I'm a sucker for customizable shit. So if you tell me I can trick out an exosuit,
there's probably a lot of different performance related things you can change on it too.
Yeah, because it seemed like, I think if I remember watching the gameplay, like when the character you're following gets in, I think it's a female. I think when she gets in her suit, she talks to the guy that's with her. And when he finally like lands next to her in the exosuit, she mentions like, "Oh yeah, you put the mortar on, like your mortar attachment on there." I was like, "Oh, you can put mortars on your freaking suit? That's gonna be awesome."
Yeah. I wonder how big the world is that you're playing in.
Yeah, that's what. I don't know how linear that's gonna be, or if it's completely open world or what.
And obviously, it's a different world, so they probably have some spacefaring vehicles to get to other places. So I wonder if there's multiple worlds, kind of like Destiny as well.
Yeah. Yeah, because that'd be really cool. I don't know how long. It's not even this year, right? We're gonna have to. They didn't even say release date or anything for that.
I don't believe there is one.
Yeah, I would guess 2018.
Yeah,
maybe Christmas 2018. That's just a guess.
Yeah, I mean, fall is a good guess time period release window because everybody likes to get their stuff out before Christmas.
Well, it seems like they're pretty serious about it. I think everybody wants a Destiny. You know, every company wants their Destiny product. And I think, honestly, I think some of the titles coming out are going to be like that for those companies. It could be that Rare strikes gold with their stuff, and you never know. But I think that's what they want is people constantly playing a game and doing microtransactions. I don't know how widely multiplayer this Anthem is, though. I didn't really look into it too deeply. But
it seems like more... Like, I don't know if there's going to be PvP stuff. If there is, they obviously didn't show that. But there was definite co-op going on.
Yeah.
It looked like 2 to 4 players, because I think at the end of that trailer, they call in help for whatever mission they try to go on, and it's definitely 4 of them marching somewhere. So, yeah, I think that'd be really cool. Plus, you just, like, it looks like you just feel like Iron Man, flying around in your exosuit places.
The only thing I didn't like is it went from flying vertically to forward like a little too quickly. Like it's just and there's no like aerodynamics, there's no downward thrust occurring. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't know if it's maybe a lower gravity world, because I saw in a couple spots in the trailer that there was these really strangely shaped mountains that were kind of like V-shaped and had just a little part that was connected. So that might be an explanation for why these suits work so well, is that it's a pretty low gravity place.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even catch that, so that was a good eye. Anything...
But if they go to different worlds, that kind of makes that not really that much of a point.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I am curious to see how open it is, because we got some details. We didn't get a lot of details, because this is the first reveal of the game. It's the first big. I've heard of it.
But, I mean, if there's a single-player component to it, they can make it look as big as they want if you can't get to those spots. But, I mean, you have a flying suit, so obviously it's all going to be accessible, because you can get there with your little flying suit, so I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully it's not like flying and then you hit an invisible wall, because that would be really, really bad.
I was wondering if it was kind of like, maybe they'll have some kind of BS explanation as why you can't go somewhere. Like, oh, if you go there, you'll get shot down right away.
Like they put force fields up around certain things or something, so you can't fly in there.
Or I can see that. Kind of like Tom Cruise's Oblivion, where these zones, like, oh, you'll die if you go in there.
Yeah.
Toxic,
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's story reasons. They can make story reasons why you can't go to certain places. I would buy that. Anything else for EA that caught your guys' attention?
Yes, definitely. A Way Out. The jailbreak game.
Oh, yeah, that was unique.
Looked pretty neat.
And that's I think they said you could do it single player, but it's meant to be as a co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think this will probably be pretty linear. This will almost be along the lines of watching a movie, I would guess. Doesn't really have a lot of replay value, but it could be pretty neat.
Well, I think they said it's meant for, like, there's no online matchmaking. So if you play online, it has to be with a friend.
Yeah.
Or you play couch co-op. Like, that's the only way you can get another person in there with you. So I thought that was pretty interesting, that they're not allowing matchmaking.
It kind of has like an Alan Wake look to it in all the pictures I've seen of it, which is kind of strange. But I think it'd be pretty cool to play. But I don't know if I'll pay for a game just for a one-time thing. Although I did pay for Firewatch. I
actually really enjoyed Firewatch.
But I'm thinking it's along those lines where you kind of play through it once and you say, well, that was fun.
Then you put it on your shelf and never look at it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andy, did you see that one?
I read the article about it, but I didn't actually watch the video.
Okay. Didn't pique your interest at all?
It looked interesting, but it's kind of like one of those keep talking or you both will die or whatever. I think it's going to outlive it's not going to outlive its interest, It just, like you guys said, it's just going to be something I'll play for a little while and put back.
I think unless they come up with some kind of truly outstanding story along the lines of, say, The Last of Us, I don't see this being something that sticks with people, or I don't think we'll be talking about this,
right,
within 6 months of it coming out. So
yeah, we'll have to see maybe what the reviews are and stuff like that. I don't know if it's, like, I like my co-op games. I just don't know if that's something I can get into or can convince someone else to get into with me to play.
Did it look like it was more puzzle solving?
Yeah, it seemed kind of like timed type stuff. Both of you have to complete 2 different things at once to get things, in the way that you can get out of something.
Okay.
And
a lot of stealth.
It looked unique in the fact that the screen that you're looking at is split down the middle. Like, regardless of which character you're playing, you are seeing both characters on screen, but you're only controlling one. So you can see what the other player is doing and try to work around that or with that, or however, the co-op system works.
Well, I would think that would be the case in either way. I mean, do you mean that even if you play co-op online, you're going to see the other person's screen?
That was the impression I got. I think every video gameplay that I'd seen that shows both characters on screen with it split down the middle.
So do you think someone in creating this game was like, oh, I really like that escape room, maybe we'll just do a virtual one?
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, if that's what it's like, I would probably buy this, to be honest with you.
I think they showed other gameplay besides stuff in the prison, so there seems to be more to the story besides just breaking out of prison.
Oh yeah, it seemed like a lot. They're on the run afterwards and everything. So
yeah, so I don't know
prison
how all that
seems like
works
it might
outside.
only be the first third of the game, maybe the first fourth.
Yeah. So yeah, it could be interesting just to see where the story goes and stuff like that.
Yeah. So there was Need for Speed Payback, but I don't know how much you want to get into that.
Yeah, the Need for Speed game for me at least, I haven't got into the last couple. You can literally the last Need for Speed that was supposed to be sort of like underground, like customizing your cars and racing at night, street racing and all that stuff. You can get the deluxe edition of that game for like under $20, for like $15 or $10. It seems like it's on sale all the time. So that game didn't sell really well. I don't know how I feel about this one. I think they hype it as like an open world story driven game, which I don't know how well that's going to work. It just kind of looks like it's trying to be Fast and Furious, but still doesn't live up to Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I've stopped following Need for Speed for years now. It just seems like it's almost the same game every time you play it.
Yeah. I mean, the car customization looks cool. Like, I think they do that pretty well compared to other games, but I feel like that's something that just gets stale after a while.
I mean, I haven't played a Need for Speed game in years and years. Is it basically just like playing like the old arcade machines that had it? Like, or like Cruis'n USA kind of thing? I mean,
yeah.
Basically the same thing?
Yeah, I guess it feels a little bit more in line with that now. At least the ones that I remember playing.
Probably dating myself by saying Cruis'n USA.
I like those games.
But yeah, it's definitely like an arcade racer. It's not simulation. You're not trying to race accurately or anything like that. It's all about the action and fast-paced driving and stuff like that. And the trailer they showed for this one is trying to add in explosion effects and like heist missions and stuff to amp up the action, but I don't know. That just,
so is it trying to be GTA?
No, not. I'd put more towards like a Fast and Furious style game.
Okay.
Where they're trying to focus on the cars, but missions around cars.
Yeah, nobody can get out of their cars in this or the crew, which also was announced. There's a new crew coming.
Yeah, and I played the first one of that, and I didn't think that was all that great.
I got it for free on Games with Gold.
Right, yeah, that's what I
haven't
did too.
Even installed it.
I tried it. I played it for a little bit, and that's another one that tries to set up a story for you, and I didn't give two fucks about that story that they tried to do.
Yeah, it's like, oh, my brother, he races, and now he's kidnapped or something.
Yeah, it was really lame.
Racing's not that important.
Well, at the same time, sort of like Jeff, what you're talking about, after playing Grand Theft Auto, which I think actually has a pretty solid racing mechanic, and GTA will let you drive around as long as you want, and then you can get out of the car and do other stuff.
You don't feel trapped.
So,
the crew has an amazing world. It has an amazing world. You can drive all the way from Miami to LA, and it's like, wow, but there's nothing in it at all.
They put ramps in like certain cars to find, but that's it.
Yep.
So yeah, when you're done driving around and you get bored driving around, there's nothing left to do but drive around some more because you can't get out of your car.
Yeah, thank God you got it for free then.
Huh? Yeah, I wouldn't have bought it otherwise.
Well, the only way I played it early because they had like a open preview or something that you could play, and I played that a little bit when it first came out. That was before GTA was available for. When GTA was available for, it was before GTA was available for Xbox One. So I thought, well, maybe this will tide me over until GTA finally comes out. Because my Xbox 360 broke.
Oh.
Big surprise.
Yeah, they tend to do that.
Yeah.
It was on my birthday.
Oh, sad
Even
day.
worse, yeah. Red Ring.
Yeah.
Was that the only Xbox 360 that broke on you, or did you go through a couple?
No, that was my original one. I got like a year after it came out.
Yeah, all right. So it lasted pretty long then.
Yeah, it was one of those old white ones.
Damn. I think I went through like 3 Xbox 360s.
Well, I took really great care of it, and then it was in a cabinet, and I forgot to open the door, and I think that's what did it.
It
just
overheated.
trapping all the heat in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could do it.
It might still be working today if I didn't do that.
Anything else for EA for you guys? I think we hit everything. The only 2 I had was Battlefront and Need for Speed. I think those are the only 2 that really caught my attention.
Yeah. And we mentioned the Battlefield stuff, so I don't think we need to talk about that.
Yeah, that again, I'm a fan of the Battlefield franchise. I do like Battlefield 1, even though I haven't played it much, or at least recently. But yeah, the trailer for the expansion got me hyped. It's something I'd like to get. I just don't know if I would want to pay on top of it. If it goes on sale, like for $10 or something, I'd probably grab it, but I don't know if I'd pay full DLC price of $15 or $20, whatever it is. Yeah,
the only thing I can think of for EA is I was really close to buying the Game Pass for Battlefront 1, you know?
Yeah.
And then I started seeing like leaks and trailers and rumors of Battlefront 2, and I'm like, why would I pay for this now when Battlefront 2 is coming out? So they started announcing Battlefront 2 before you even got like Rogue One DLC for Battlefront 1. It seemed like they jacked up that whole thing, because I was just like, well, why would I spend any more money on Battlefront 1 if they've already moved on?
Well, it depends, I guess.
Battlefront, the first Battlefront was on sale through Origin last week for $10 for the unlimited edition that has everything. Wow. So that's why I ended up getting it. So I said, $10, I'll have the whole game then. So
yeah, I'm trying to look and confirm, because I'm pretty sure it's on sale through Xbox this week too.
Really?
For the same price.
Let's see if I even have Origin on this machine. I don't know if it's still on sale or not.
But I guess, Andy, you're looking at the PlayStation deals, right? Because you have it for PS4.
PS4, yeah.
Well, if you want to get it for Xbox, the Ultimate Edition is on sale this week up through Monday. So by the time this episode goes out, the sale will be ending or over. But for any of us here, wait, come on, load the damn thing. Yeah, Star Wars Battlefront Ultimate Edition, $10 through Xbox Live.
So yeah, you can get the whole thing.
Yeah, I think I'll probably just wait for Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
You gonna be able to hold yourself over till November?
If you try to jump in now, you're just gonna get one-shotted by everybody jumping up in the air, and it's terrible. The only people left playing that game are the ones that are really good at it.
Yeah.
Well, that happens with most games after near the end of their lifespan and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right, so should we move on to Microsoft?
Sure.
Sweet.
All right. So Microsoft was the next event. If you're following video games at all, you'll probably know that Microsoft has been working on an upgraded console, which up until the beginning of this event was called Project Scorpio. So once the show opened, they actually debuted the console in its new name, which is Xbox One X. It is labeled as the most powerful console ever made.
So everybody's grandma is going to buy them an Xbox One S because they're going to hear wrong this year.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The names are very similar, and people even doing interviews were mixing them up too. They were saying S's instead of X's. So yeah, it's.
Well, I like the idea that you say Zox, XOX.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
And everybody I've talked to has said the same thing, but
I thought I heard people calling it the Triple X.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that'll work too. Yeah.
But
give it better abbreviations than the actual name.
There are 3 X's in there.
Yeah.
So they did release specs. It might not mean too much to me, but for people out there, 6 teraflop GPU, 12 gigabytes GDDR5 memory, 326 gigabytes per second memory bandwidth, liquid-cooled vapor chamber to keep it from overheating. It's supposed to display in true 4K, which is 8 million plus pixels, formatted for HDR, Dolby Atmos sound, 4K Blu-ray player included. Release date is November 7th this year, and the price point is $500, $499. Now that puts it $100 more than the PS4 Pro, which is Sony's 4K machine. I wasn't sure if they would actually take a price hit and do $400 just to stick it to Sony. I really thought if they priced the Xbox One X at $400, that I think it might actually outsell Sony. But since it's $100 more, I don't know.
I agree with you. I was really hoping for $399 myself.
Yeah.
As soon as they popped that up, I said, I don't know about this now.
I think it's the highest they could go and still have people buy it. If it was $600, nobody would have bought it.
They shouldn't be aiming for that, in my opinion, at all.
Well,
what they should have been aiming for was the lowest they could go and not, kill themselves, and then let the people buy it if they want to buy it. And I think $449 would have been a really great spot to be.
That's true. Yeah, put it right in the middle.
Because, we know that this is much more powerful than a PlayStation Pro.
Yeah.
But most people don't. Most people are going to see, this one does 4K too. What's the difference? And no sales rep. No one listens to sales reps or anything in a GameStop. I know as soon as I see somebody coming toward me, I'm like, get out of my face.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Just looking. Leave me alone.
Yeah. What are you here for?
Always, they're always like, pre-order. No, I don't want to fucking pre-order anything. Pre-order this.
With that price point, at least, I don't think we're going to have a shortage. I think we're going to have enough of these sitting on the shelves we can find them.
Yeah. I think, that's a good point. It'll be out there if you want one.
So
come in the fall.
This isn't next gen, right?
No,
Correct.
it's supposed to be considered current gen, but this is like 6 times more powerful than the existing Xbox One.
Something like that.
That sounds like a generation jump to me.
Well, they continually mention it is part of the Xbox One family, which means all the games and accessories you already own for Xbox One work with this console.
But
if you have an Xbox One S, it uses the same power cords and everything that the Xbox One S does. So really all you'd have to do is change out the console itself.
Yeah, so the thing about that is, if they've changed their plans for, new console gens to be everything's always backwards compatible, then this would be just another line in that line of consoles. So technically it is next gen, but at the same time with the backwards compatibility, you can't really say that it is, because normally you have to buy a new controller. Normally you can't just take all your existing games and throw them in the new one.
Right.
But I think really looking at the power of this thing, I would consider it next gen in a sense. Yeah.
But at the same time, it does seem more appealing because you don't have to start from scratch. You can use your existing games and accessories.
Because, look what we were just talking about. My 360 died, and I couldn't play GTA for like a year and a half or something like that. Yeah. Because I had to wait for it to come around to be on Xbox One. And in this case, I could just throw the disc right in the new system in November. No problems. Whether or not they patch it and let you, have better textures or better graphics for GTA in the future, who knows? But for right now, that will work out of the box, I guess.
Yeah, so. that would be down to the publisher of the games, wouldn't it? Whether or not they would release a XXX patch for any of the games.
Well, this is what I found. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, you would think that launch titles of Xbox One wouldn't really transcend to the XXX very well, or the ZOX, or whatever you guys want to call it.
Well, this is what I found interesting. They did mention they threw out like 4 or 5 titles that I think are first party games, like Gears of War 4, Forza Horizon 3, and a couple others. They said they're getting free updates to support 4K graphics and the power of the Xbox One. Now, the fact that they threw out free updates, what the fuck does that mean for other games that need a 4K update? Do you have to pay to get some sort of a 4K update to your game?
That would suck.
Yeah, almost like 4K DLC.
Yeah, and how much is that going to cost?
Say Rockstar says, "Hey, no, you can't have the cool, like, we're going to add even more traffic. We're going to add even more people on the streets. We're going to add the ability to upscale it to 4K, and the textures on some of the stuff that look bad we're going to fix." But you got to buy that. And what if it's like more than $10? There's no way I'm paying that.
Right. Yeah, is it going to be worth it, whatever they want to charge, just to get a graphical upgrade?
I can almost guarantee it's going to be smoother on this machine.
oh, yeah.
the slowdowns aren't going to happen. It's going to be a more solid frame rate. The loading's going to be better because there's more RAM. They're going to be able to leverage. Supposedly, they're going to be able to leverage RAM that's not used as a cache. So any normal Xbox One game played on this system will have that cache, I guess, by default. So that should improve gameplay in general for everybody.
Yeah.
Plus, the hard drive is actually faster on this machine as well.
Yeah, it's got a lot of things going for it. So I guess, well, let's put it this way. The main question is, for $500, will you be buying one come the fall?
No.
I bet I'll buy one in the spring.
I would not be surprised if by the spring they drop at $50.
Yep. And Red Dead Redemption comes out in the spring, supposedly.
Oh, true.
And Sea of Thieves will be out in the spring, supposedly. So, really, there's nothing that I'm looking to play on this thing that I want upscaled. You know, I think Red Dead is my main. It's probably my killer app for one of these new machines.
Yeah.
Because I want to see what it looks like, what it's supposed to look like.
So now that this is coming out, a lot of the publishers will be programming to make use of all of this power for this new XXX, right? So if you have just a regular Xbox One and you're buying these new games, does it scale down? Are you going to get much? You know what I mean?
And that was a question I asked, I think, last year when they first announced the Scorpio was coming. Is like
right.
the logic of it didn't make sense to me that existing games will work on the newer 4K machine, and then games that are made for the 4K machine somehow work still for the original Xbox One, but they can't look as good as the 4K, which is probably what they were programmed to do. So yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I think there's going to be a lot of crossover in the beginning, but I think if we're realistic, there are going to be some Scorpio exclusives at some point. I mean, they keep saying there are not going to, but I really do think that at some point you're going to see in a box that it's going to require Xbox One X in order to, do one thing or the other. So
or maybe it'll just have like an Xbox One X recommend stamp on it.
Oh yeah, okay.
But I mean, I don't know. Whenever they had Destiny first came out, there was a little bit less, shrubbery in the landscape, I guess, on the Xbox One version because of the small difference of the PlayStation at the time.
Okay.
So, I mean, they could do something along those lines, just a lot more noticeable. So, you're going to see a 900p game at 30 frames per second instead of a 4K game at a solid 30 or a 4K game at solid 60 frames per second. Somebody on the Xbox One is going to have a little bit less of an experience as far as games go.
Right.
But, I mean, most of these people, this is this experience that they're having already. I mean, most people probably play on a smaller TV. They don't notice the kind of detail loss that they might be missing. So
right. Yeah, the only person this console probably benefits is the people that play on the big 65, 70-inch TVs, have 4K displays, and can see the detail that this console is supposed to do. If you're playing on, 32, 40-inch television in your bedroom with just the regular Xbox One, you probably won't notice the difference if you switch to the Xbox One X and try to play the same thing.
Yeah, I've got a 60-inch 4K, and that does make me want to buy this. But
yeah, so you're ready to go.
That being said, I don't know if that TV can even handle 60 frames per second. I have no idea. I have nothing to hook up to it, honestly. I don't have a 4K Blu-ray player, which that's another benefit of this thing.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah, if you're paying, $200, $300, $400 for just a straight up 4K Blu-ray player, and you pay $500 for a video game console that also does 4K Blu-rays, that seems like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, the only thing I have in 4K is Netflix, and that's straight through the TV. So,
okay.
until I get some kind of box that can do everything else, that's pretty much all I have in 4K. I mean, this can do 4K. I don't know if I believe they haven't mentioned it, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be able to do 4K YouTube. It'll be able to do 4K Hulu once they have that.
Yeah, I think if the apps support 4K, I think if you run them through there, I think that will work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as far as you guys answered whether or not you get one. I'm sort of on the lines with Jeff. If it drops in price, maybe $50 or even to $300, it would be very hard for me to pass it up because I would definitely like to try this out and see how this works.
I don't see $100 difference for at least another year after it's been released.
Right.
I
know
know
I
that
agree.
if they did that, that would be a slap in the face to everybody who did go out and buy it.
Yeah.
I could see a $50 decrease after the holiday. That would be my guess.
It's probably just going to depend how much I want to wait. If I start hearing really good things after Christmas from people maybe that have one or reading online reviews or anything like that for people that have played it, and they drop it $50, that might be enough for me to just pull the trigger and get one.
Well, I'm hoping that there's some kind of SKU in the spring that's like, $4.99 total, but you get, say, Red Dead Redemption with that, and maybe some other game that's out at the time. So that might be worth it.
I think there's a lot of people online that are looking for the Xbox One X to be packaged with an Xbox Elite controller.
Yeah, that'd be neat too.
What is an Xbox Elite controller?
Right now, I think it's a $150 controller that has paddles on the back, like for you, so you can use extra instead of like when you're wrapping around the controller, you can use your fingers in the back of the controller to map buttons to. So you can use the paddles for extra buttons. The controller is fully mappable. Like you can map any button to any configuration you want for any game.
Yeah,
regardless of whether the game supports button mapping or not.
Huh.
Anybody that I think a friend of mine, Don, who I play with on Xbox, he has one and he swears by it. He loves the damn thing. So,
well, if I'm going to spend that kind of money on a controller, I'd probably say I love it too.
So that's the thing. I think, if you're promoting this console as like the elite console for Xbox owners and hardcore gamers, to package your elite controller that is targeted towards hardcore gamers, that could be a good selling point, I think, for them. All right, so I think we covered the console pretty well. Any of the games from their conference that stood out to you guys?
Well, I mean, there was a number of games. I mean,
they did go through a lot.
Ton of indie titles. That's pretty much what everybody seems to be complaining about, is that all of their exclusives tend to be smaller things that aren't exactly something people get excited about. I know for a fact, I mean, I don't know, I'm not going to buy a Dragon Ball game.
I know a couple of friends that might be excited about the Dragon Ball game. Basically because it looked like playing one of the episodes of the television show.
Yeah, and I mean, that's great, but it's no, Days Gone. It's no like big time game that you're gonna get real excited about.
I don't know. They had a couple exclusives I thought that they nailed. Like Crackdown 3 still exists. I'm pretty excited about that one.
I was disappointed though, because I mean, when they show the trailers, you don't see the destruction in the physics that they showed last time. And I'm wondering if they took that out and just aren't saying anything.
Well, it said, I think the trailer they showed with Terry Crews, he specifically mentions bringing down buildings, so I think the destructibility still has to be there.
Yeah. But is it going to be down to destructibility like Battlefield 4? Or is it going to be more like what they showed in the original? Like
leveling entire cities, basically.
Yeah. Just you take out like one beam on a building and the whole thing starts to collapse. But
yeah, we'll have to see maybe, because that's that release date that they actually showed is the same date that the Xbox One X comes out. So Crackdown 3 is basically like a launch title for that console. So we'll see between now and then. Maybe they'll give us some more details and trailers to show some of that destructibility, which would be cool.
So how crazy is it that last time I think I was on some Star Wars podcast in between, but last time I was on an EA or an E3 podcast with you, I was all excited about Cuphead. And it's still not out.
Yep.
But we do get it September 29th. So
yeah, they finally gave us a release date for that one. So 2 years later.
Did they say a price by any chance? I don't know.
I don't remember seeing one. No. Because I think they're sort of hyping it as almost like an arcade game or an indie game, right? So I would think $30.
Yeah, probably $39.99. Knowing them. But
the other one I think that got me, because I've been watching a lot of people play it on PC, was seeing that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is going to be an Xbox exclusive for consoles.
That's pretty neat. One of my friends is a big time fan of that game. He got it on early access on Steam.
Yeah, I think that'd be really. I don't think I could play that by myself, but if me and a couple friends played that, I would be all about that. I think that looks really, really fun.
Yeah.
Andy, do you know anything about that game?
What it's called? PlayerUnknown?
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
No.
So basically, it's a giant level, and there's some towns and there's vehicles and there's random gun spawns in some of the buildings, but everybody starts and they actually parachute down onto the island, and everybody's trying to scramble for guns so that when they run into each other they can kill each other. But also there's a playable area that shrinks over time, and it's like a electric force field that you can see. So it's almost like the Hunger Games in a sense.
I was going to say that sounds like the Hunger Games.
It starts shrinking things in so that everybody has to be pulled toward the center. And at the end, you either have one of two things, from what I've seen on Twitch, is you either have one of two things. You have everybody in cars chasing each other around, trying to push each other out of the zone, or you have a giant gunfight and everybody dies. It's pretty fun from the looks of it, but I don't own it. I've only seen it on Twitch.
Yeah, I've only watched the gameplay too, but it seems like people have a ball playing it. It's basically like the ultimate game of King of the Hill.
Okay.
Like you want to be the last man standing. And that could classify, like if it's you and your team, if one of your team members survives to the end, then you guys win.
Are we talking like new sci-fi type weapons, or are we talking more
standard,
just
your standard shotgun?
You can get like a 1911 and
M16s, shotguns.
Okay.
Yeah, they parachute you into this island, and there's 100 people on the island, and you just have to whittle it down to being the last one alive.
Okay.
Boy, would that be exciting if you managed to win a round.
Oh, I know. I'd lose my shit.
I don't think I'm ever gonna. I don't think it's ever gonna happen for me.
Is there like a time limit? Oh, I guess there would be a time limit since it shrinks,
I think it's I think they last about 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, I was gonna say between 20 and 30 minutes probably.
It seems like the shrinking is a lot slower in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it starts really speeding up.
But you have to pick up backpacks to be able to store the gear that you have, and depending on the level of the backpack is depending on how much gear you can carry. You have to pick up like bulletproof vests, any guns and ammo. Like you really have to conserve ammo and pick up the right type of ammo for the right type of guns. Health packs, stamina packs, energy drinks, all that stuff comes into play.
Cool. So is it a full price game?
Like I don't know, because I don't know what it was for the. Jeff, do you know what it cost for the PC?
Here, I'm gonna check it out right now. Up until recently, though, there was no jumping, there was no climbing. So they just added jumping and climbing to the game. So now you don't have to. If you're inside a building, you don't have to find your way all the way back out.
Yeah, because all the buildings you can go into, that's basically where you're finding all your loot and gear. And then it's just like trying to find the high ground and pick off people when you see them. Or just hide somewhere and let everybody pick each other off and then just pop out at the end and kill everybody.
Hiding only works for a little bit, though, because the boundaries, unless you happen to be randomly in the one spot where the boundaries shrink down to, which is impossible to determine in the beginning.
Yeah, right.
You're stuck. So I think it's on my wish list here.
Do they have radar or...
There is a radar.
You have a map that shows a circle, and it's shrinking down. And there's a blue line and a white line. The blue line is what the next place where the white line is going to be. So you have to get into the circle before everything shrinks down on you.
Okay. And if you let's say you notice somebody in front of you, like hiding behind a dumpster, does a red dot appear on your little mini map? Or
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I don't think there's player indicators.
It's $30 on Steam.
Okay, that's not too bad.
I don't know if it's still considered early. Yeah, it's early access, so if you buy it later, it's going to probably be full price.
Okay, yeah, I guess we'll see what it is. Because it's only the one map, right? It's just the one island over and over and over again, so...
I don't believe there's more than one location. I've watched a lot of Steam, or a lot of Twitch streams, and I have not noticed.
I wonder if the island changes, like the landscapes and the buildings change, maybe?
Well, they're supposed to add weather as well. That's another thing they're adding.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember. Of course, I didn't look at the release date. I don't know what I think it's supposed to come out this year. I think for Xbox. I just don't remember what the date was. But yeah, I mean, it's one that caught my attention again because I was watching it online. I think it looks really cool. I think that'd be a really fun co-op game with friends. So, either of you, if you want to get that and play it, let me know because I'm game.
We'll
see if we can survive to the end.
Here, let's see. Battlegrounds. Xbox release date. Nothing.
Was Sea of Thieves one of the Microsoft announcements? Or
they showed
I guess not necessarily an announcement, but showing more gameplay.
Yeah, they showed a long gameplay kind of trailer with a voiceover that everybody hated.
Well,
I don't know. The gameplay looked pretty cool, like with the sharks and the skeletons and stuff like that.
I think Jeff has the inside scoop on this one, right, Jeff?
Yeah, actually, I'm in the closed alpha.
Oh, no way.
So, without incriminating myself from my non-disclosure agreement, I could say it's actually a pretty fun game. They have a lot of work to do, though.
They don't actually make you sign an NDA, do they?
They say there's an NDA, but I didn't sign anything else on
right. Okay.
Yes. Sign here, fax it.
But did you have to press X where you agree to the terms of service? Because that might be included.
Yeah. So, really, there's not a lot to it, though, that they've not shown in previews. Everything that I've played, you've seen in video, including this walkthrough that they did. I actually just got to play the thing where you go inside the sunken ship that they showed on the video. I thought that was pretty neat. The ship wasn't actually. I don't know if I'm breaking my NDA by saying this, but the ship wasn't actually on the bottom. It was just kind of floating upside down. It's kind of strange.
Huh.
But the storms were pretty incredible. It was pretty neat when I was at the wheel because it was dragging the wheel left and right. It was pretty neat. But I could see how the storms would be useful if you were being chased by somebody. You could probably sail into one of the storms and lose them. So I think it's going to be pretty neat. I just think they need some content, and they haven't demoed any of that yet. So
yeah, I think that was my biggest concern is when is it going to get stale just sailing around and going to islands and trying to treasure hunt? I feel like that would be fun for a while, but
it does right now. Once the nostalgia of hey, I'm crewing a ship with my friends. Well, people I've randomly met on the internet. Hey, once that wears off, there is no meat to it yet. But it is an alpha, so really, that's where it comes down to.
Do you consider yourself a pirate?
Arg.
I was wondering if I get you on that one.
Well, yeah, that's the funny thing. It's like my crew would be like, I'd say, well, we got the whole ship full of treasure here. We don't want to go after somebody and lose all our treasure. And they're like, well, we don't have nothing to spend it on yet because the alpha doesn't have any content yet. So, and then the other guy's like, hey, screw it, we're pirates. We're supposed to attack you.
Arg. Andy, I think
until
this
they
is
figure something out like that.
I've been sending Andy updates on this game because he primarily plays on PS4, so I keep trying to bring him over more to the Xbox fold. And I figure this is the way to do it. Give him a pirate game.
Arg.
Well, that's the thing. There's another pirate game coming out on PlayStation. So, hence the heavy emphasis on pirates.
Arg.
Andy, you want to jump in here? What do you think about Sea of Thieves?
I think it looks really cool. I like the how you kind of have to work together with a lot of your teammates and whatnot. The treasure hunting looks pretty cool. I thought I don't know if it was like a riddle map or something where every time you completed a different riddle, another line of the riddle would come down and you'd have to figure that part out.
Yeah.
That looked pretty neat. The combat looks pretty basic. It didn't look like there was too much going on there.
They're going to need to figure out a way to
maybe get some sword play in there. That would be
there are swords, but they're going to have to figure out a way to have some more guns for everybody. There's not. Again, I'm probably breaking my thing here, but there's 2 guns right now, so I don't know if they're gonna end up making that.
Or something?
They keep saying though that they want it to. Wow, there's a storm coming.
Yeah.
They keep saying that they want, say, a new pirate to,
Arg.
be able to take on an existing one that's been playing a whole lot. That's the thing about some of these games. You unlock all these good guns and stuff, and you try to join, and you just get wasted.
Oh, true. Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they figure some way out to do that. But I'm kind of dubious as to how they're going to do that, though, because they keep saying no level system and no no skills or progression system. So I don't know how people are going to keep coming back day in day out and play this game if there's nothing for you to earn.
Right.
Yeah, and there's no, like, if you are like a player from day one and you pretty much log on or getting smoked by people who just got the game, there's like no reward for playing it more. Because that's part of the fun of those progression type games is you get the good gun and like you've played it longer, you know how to use that type of stuff. I mean,
even like ship upgrades or something, like you might have like more cannons or something on your ship to be able to get other
that would
ships.
Be cool. Yeah,
I don't know how the ships are going to work either. That's the other thing is sort of the team's just given a ship when you start. I don't know if it's going to be different. Maybe the host uses their ship as the team's ship. I don't know. I would think that that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then you probably can deck your ship out with different things. Maybe you could add cannons. Maybe you get a bigger one.
Or different shots from the cannon, like grape shot or anything like that.
I mean, there has to be ways to customize your ship, because if you're going to roll around with that thing for that long, like to be able to pimp it out and do stuff with it, it's got to be part of the player progression somehow.
Right. I kind of wish, I guess, that the graphics weren't as cartoony as they are.
Okay.
Well, I think that's supposed to be the theme, though. I mean, it's meant to be a cartoon pirate game in a sense.
Arg.
So I'm not really sure. The thing is, though, if you look at any of the videos, you can see. I'm just saying that for any possible NDA related. If you look at the videos, the water looks incredible, and it's not a cartoon. So it's kind of strange that there's cartoon everything, and then this beautiful, crystal clear, amazing water that could be used in like a Titanic CGI water part of the movie. So it is kind of odd to me that the water. I mean, the water looks great. Don't get me wrong, but apparently they used the Forza team gave them their ocean and water mechanics.
Okay,
I heard that somewhere. But yeah, that's what's strange to me is that the water looks so beautiful, and yet everything else is cartoon graphics. But I'm not complaining. I really like the game, so.
Cool. Well, at least it got your seal of approval. It'll be one to look forward to then.
Well, I'm hoping you guys like it. Honestly, I really hope that I can yank people I know, such as you, away from the battlefields and the battlefronts to play this game. Even though it's a little bit more simplistic, a little bit less, hardcore gaming compared to.
So do they have vaults, or do you bury treasure, or?
I'm sorry, what?
So how do you like wealth? Is it just on your person, or do you like have to bury your treasure, or go to a city and go to a vault?
Well, there's and this is all freely available too. There's outposts that you turn your treasure in.
Okay.
And then there's also bars and stuff in those outposts, so you can like drink, do all that kind of stuff.
Socialize.
But, I mean, and you guys can see any of that stuff in all their YouTube clips that are freely available. So I'm not spilling any beans.
You're also assuming that a lot of people, someone from Rare, is going to listen to this podcast and try to come after you. I don't think we have that big of an audience.
I'm doing it more out of humor now. Not
okay.
Out of that. Just don't mention my gamer tag.
It's fine if you want to cover your own ass. I fully support that. That's fine.
Well, I mean, I can't even think of something that I've even seen that I would even spill the beans on,
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. I don't... They haven't really shown anything new to the alpha players that they haven't shown. So...
Fair enough.
I think the big secret is the lack of stuff to the game. This game is probably... The mechanics-wise is probably 90% done. As far as story and content, it's like 5% done.
Oh,
yeah.
So,
and this is supposed to get a Christmas release, huh?
No, it's supposed to be spring now.
Oh, they delayed it until 2018.
I was disappointed. It was supposed to be spring this year, so I guess they really fell behind.
Well, if they need that much story content or some sort of event to keep people playing, I guess they still have to try to craft that. So
you said this was the Rare publisher?
Yep. This is a first-party title, then.
These are the guys that did, what, 007 and Perfect Dark and stuff, right?
Correct. Yep.
And originally Donkey Kong.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Yep. Which I was extremely disappointed that nothing was announced.
Was there supposed to be? Because that was the first I've heard of a new Banjo-Kazooie game.
There was not supposed to be anything, but people were, like, some of the Rare devs were tweeting in rhymes, and it really sounded a lot like what you'd expect, like the witch character talking. So I was pretty disappointed. I really thought maybe something would slip in that, hey, by the way, we don't have anything to show you yet, but yeah, Banjo-Kazooie's coming eventually. But we got nothing. So other Microsoft things. I mean, Minecraft's getting some shaders and some 4K upgrade on the Xbox One X.
And it looks like you can actually cross-play with Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, and how cool is that?
That's pretty cool. I think that's one of the very few times that consoles can actually play with each other.
Well, occasionally consoles like Xbox can play with PC and PlayStation can play with PC, but yeah, I think, to my knowledge, this is the first cross-platform between two consoles.
Two consoles, right.
That has been in the works, so that's actually pretty cool. Not that I can't imagine people... Well, I guess Minecraft maybe has a different demographic. I was going to say, I can't imagine people from Xbox actively trying to look for people on the Nintendo Switch to play with. Well,
I think it's cool that Minecraft's been a tablet game for a while now. It's been on phones, it's been on tablets. It's kind of cool that Switch is getting it right away, and also that it's going to work with the existing ecosystem of Xbox. I can hear the thunder over your thing.
that was a big crack.
So it'd be pretty neat though. It looks like you can log in with your Xbox Live ID, so you'll be able to carry your achievements over to the Switch version as well, and anything you unlock there will unlock on your Xbox Live account as an achievement.
Yeah,
because as we know, Nintendo has no achievements. So.
Right. I don't understand the 4K necessity for Minecraft.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't. that type of.
Here's the thing.
Like, it's not graphic intensive.
Do you ever play Minecraft?
Yeah, on Xbox One.
The farther you can see, and the clearer you can see out that distance, the better. Now, if you have more pixels, you can make out, say, a creeper or something from farther out than you could with just a 1080p.
Okay.
So I've actually tried it because I have. I hooked my computer up and I was able to run it at like 20 frames a second at 4K, and it was actually pretty neat. You'd be able to see very far, but the distance, the viewing distance is actually pretty crappy on PC, no matter how far you take it out, even with mods. So it'd be interesting to see if the Xbox One X can really turn it up and have a distance, like a visible distance, way out, even farther than the PC at 32 chunks. So I don't know. I don't really play the Windows 10 version or the Xbox One version that often. If I do play Minecraft, it's the Java version. My friend runs a server that it's like the version that you can actually do mods and things on PC.
Anything else for Microsoft catch you guys' attention?
State of Decay looked pretty nice, but is that an exclusive?
That's a good question. It might be. Because I feel like most of the the majority of the games I feel like they were showing were exclusives to Microsoft.
Yeah, it says Xbox One and Windows 10 exclusive.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't remember it popping up in anybody else's conferences or briefings or anything. So
I don't think I knew about State of Decay 1. So
yeah, I think that's been out for a couple years now.
Yeah, it never was real popular or anything. But it looks like almost everybody's got a similar game on the opposite side of Nintendo and Sony, or
right.
Microsoft and Sony.
Yeah.
So, like, we've got State of Decay on Xbox, and then Sony's got Days Gone.
Yeah. Everybody's got their zombie survival type game.
We got 2 pirate games.
Arg.
Do you have to do it twice because we said 2 pirates?
Arg.
I know they played it at the Xbox conference, and I know it popped up at Ubisoft and stuff too. But what do you guys think of Assassin's Creed Origins? Have you guys played the other Assassin's Creed games at all?
I've played a few, but I never completed them.
They just never hold on interest for me.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, the whole like coded memory thing or whatever, I just never get past that. And any time I try playing these things, so I have no idea. The first time I played, I was like, "What is this?" I had no idea. I thought Assassin's Creed was just about some guy that was an assassin.
I mean, that's the focus for me. Like the whole like modern setting, tapping into someone's memories things. That's sort of interesting, but that's not why I play it. I play it to be the assassin and doing cool shit like that. So,
but I mean, that just threw me off on the one. I played Rogue and I played the other one. That's the other one where you can be a pirate.
Arrgh.
Black Flag.
Yeah, Black Flag.
Yeah. Yeah, I've played some of them. Romano's the Assassin's Creed junkie out of all of us. I mean,
they're great looking games.
Yeah.
And they're pretty expansive, but it's just, I don't know. I think they've kind of fallen as far as popularity go.
I think Romano's played them all, so I think he's probably the one to talk to about this game. I think he seemed like he was pretty excited the little bit I talked to him about it. I don't know how I feel about the ancient Egypt setting. I don't know if I like going that far back in the past. I really want to play Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which is the last one they did, which was like Industrial Revolution London.
Yeah.
I thought that one looked actually pretty cool, and I never got around to playing that. It's on.
I never heard anything else about it after it got released. I mean, if that's the thing about Assassin's Creed. Unless it has game-breaking bugs, you hear nothing about it after it released.
Yeah, you hear more about the bad games than you do the good games anymore.
So the one in France, the one in Paris or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was Assassin's Creed Unity. Yeah, that one was buggy as shit.
And you still hear about it. I mean, people still make fun of it. So, I mean, I almost forgot that the Syndicate even occurred.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I've heard good things about that one. I guess we'll see what Origins does. I don't know if I'll get that one. I might just... I mean, considering I haven't got Syndicate yet and it's been out for a year or so, I don't know if I'll jump on Origins.
Yeah, and the movie fell kind of flat for me too. So it's that IP just really isn't doing anything for me.
Yeah, I think the annual releases are starting to hurt it. Like, just take a step back, take a break. I think you'll be better off for it.
Yeah, it's not like a football game or a basketball game.
Yeah.
Where you kind of have to have something new every year.
All right, so I'm going to try to get us moving because I didn't realize the time, and I feel like we're gonna lose Andy in like 40 minutes, and I still feel like we got like...
Well, real quick, Forza 7 is going to be 4K.
Oh, that's right. That's one I forgot to mention too. That's another big one from Microsoft.
60 FPS.
Yeah, that's the one that I feel like they built it specifically to take advantage of the Xbox One X.
I mean, that's the thing. You have a first-party studio that has the ability to create a specific engine, a game engine that can run on this specific hardware. You're going to get 4K 60 FPS. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not that impressed, but I don't play Forza, so I'm not really sure.
Yeah, is that just like the Xbox version of Gran Turismo?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's their driving simulation game and not the arcade driving game. Okay. Which I have a hard time getting into simulation games because it's too real for me. I just want to drive really fast and like brake really hard and be able to make the turn. But those games, I just slide into the wall.
Yep, I wrecked within 2 seconds of starting those games.
Yeah, so it could be. It looks beautiful. It looks really, really pretty. The weather effects and everything look awesome for that game that they showed, but just not. I feel like in my wheelhouse for me. All right, so the next conference we had was Bethesda. And honestly, I didn't watch this one or see what was revealed from Bethesda, so I don't know if you guys did or if there's anything there worth talking about.
The VR stuff.
Which VR stuff? What did they reveal or talk about?
They revealed Doom VR, and I believe they also, if they didn't reveal it, they rumored to have it. Fallout VR.
Okay. Is that for PlayStation, Oculus, just whatever?
I would guess, or Windows.
Okay. Well, did you watch any of that stuff? Does it look good?
I didn't watch it, but I can't imagine. I mean, Doom's pretty cool. I can't imagine putting a VR thing on and trying to fight some of those demons and stuff.
Doom's pretty intense.
Pretty intense,
on screen.
Yeah.
Jeff, did you see anything from Bethesda? Anything stand out to you?
Well, they've got Skyrim on the Switch, and it's going to have the ability to dress up as Link.
Oh, okay.
Yay.
It looks like Skyrim will be a PlayStation VR, too.
Oh, yeah, they did announce that at Sony's conference.
Now, that might actually be pretty cool. But
I was talking to who was I was talking to Becky, who was on last week, texting a little bit about it, E3, and she was jokingly talking about how she really wants another Elder Scrolls game, but all they keep doing is releasing remakes and remasters for Skyrim.
Right.
So, of course, I had to text her when Sony announced that Skyrim was coming to PlayStation VR, because I was like, look, you're not getting a new Elder Scrolls game, you're getting the same one again. So, she got to kick that out.
They did announce that they're working on Elder Scrolls 6, but that it's a very, very long way away.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
So, and surprisingly, the Wolfenstein series is still going.
Yeah, I feel like that last one they did actually got some pretty good reviews, and it seemed like people liked it. I haven't played it, but
yeah, seems like it's going like the Man in High Castle kind of style, where it's like a what if the Germans won kind of situation.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
I watched my roommate play it. It looked pretty fun, the first one.
Yeah.
For PS4, but I don't know. I kind of stopped playing the Wolfenstein series after it was like the first 3D
the shareware version
shooter. Yeah.
Yeah, we did Wolfenstein on PC, and then we went to like Doom and Unreal and stuff like that, and never really went back to Wolfenstein. Yeah, anything? I mean, nothing for me stood out for Bethesda again because I didn't really watch it or check to see what they did. So, anything else from you guys that stood out?
Looks like they announced another Dishonored game and The Evil Within 2. I know The Evil Within was a popular game, but I didn't play it.
Yeah, I never even got into Dishonored 2. I've heard good things about that series. Jeff, anything else from you?
I don't think so. I don't see anything else on my list here.
Okay. Then I'm going to move us right along to Ubisoft, which years past, Ubisoft, I feel like, has been noted for having some really weird fucking press conferences. Like, they bring out some weird shit. Every time Just Dance comes on, they have to have some sort of weird dance number or concert with some random person, which they did in this one, which I guess still wasn't as bad as some of the years past. I think in the first time in the last 2 or 3 years, this one was not hosted by Aisha Tyler, and I think it benefited from it. I think she's a little bit out there for hosting one of these conferences. So I don't know. What did you guys? Anything from Ubisoft that you guys saw that thought was interesting?
That goofy monkey game, the Beyond Good and Evil.
Oh, see, that's one that I never played the first one, but I know a lot of people love that game.
But you know what? I mean, it was all a CGI trailer, but that's a pretty cool world for a setting for a game.
Yeah.
I was impressed. If the game's anything remotely similar to that, that'll be neat. So
yeah, I wonder if you have to play the first one to try to jump into the second one, because like you said, that trailer for the second one caught my attention.
Is it available on anything that I have?
I mean, it was a 360 game. It might be available for backwards compatibility.
The thing that struck me about the Ubisoft conference was that really odd Mario Rabbids thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Rayman, or not the Rayman. Was it Rayman? No. Where did the rabbits come from?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, there's some sort of, they spun off from something. I can't remember what franchise it was, but then they started getting their own like weird.
Yeah, they have their own TV show, and yeah.
I mean, it looks kind of fun. I don't know.
It does, but I don't like the fact that you're taking Mario, one of the most iconic video game characters of all time, and putting him with this creepy looking, not talking, ugly eyed what the fucks.
Well, I mean, those rabbits are definitely, like, they're popular to certain people, probably kids and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
I tried
pairing
watching
them
yeah,
with,
they're kind of like
Mario.
Minions in a way.
Yeah.
The Minions are so much better, though.
So you'd be okay if it was Mario and the Minions?
Yes, but I don't know. I just don't like the crossover.
I feel like that's pretty...
Game, Brian.
Yeah. Well, I feel like this is a pretty big deal in the fact that Ubisoft and Nintendo are working together for this type of game. Like, that seemed like it opened their press conference.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. They're farming out Mario. I mean,
well, they're doing that, except this is still an exclusive Switch game, so you can't play it anywhere else besides the Switch. So, as much as we'd like to see Mario show up on other consoles and sort of make him a third-party thing, it's still exclusive to Nintendo. But yeah, I think, just the collaboration there, I think, is something to be worth noting. One, at least, that I was trying to send Andy about was the Skull and Bones, the other pirate game that we said we'd have to talk about. Which I guess they were saying was, I think it was like Ubisoft Montreal was the studio working on it, which they worked on Black Flag.
Singapore, okay.
It looks a lot like similar mechanics, but it looks like, you're not controlling a single player. It seems almost like you're controlling the whole ship.
Yeah, I think whoever you are is the one controlling the ship, like I guess the captain of the ship type of thing.
Yeah.
But it seems like the way they were talking, they just took the mechanic that they built for Black Flag and just spun it off into its own game.
It does seem like it. Whenever you have the cannons and everything and the way they launch.
So, Andy, I think this game's right up your alley because we talked about you trying to play Black Flag just because of the pirate aspect of it.
Yeah. And the ship combat looks really pretty awesome. The things that I didn't like about it is... the whole boarding the ship seemed to take about 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay, board the ship. Ship's boarded. You get this. I would like to see that kind of more playable, I guess. Like actually being able to board the ship and maybe some combat there.
Well, I'm curious what the game's actually going to be about because the only gameplay they showed was a 5-on-5, like a PvP match almost.
Right. And I didn't like how there were like these unkillable pirate hunter ships that came in at the end. Like when the timer ran out, that pretty much you had to just like cut bait and run.
Yeah.
That seemed questionable to me.
Yeah,
I just trying to imagine playing, I don't know, Battlefront, and all of a sudden like Vader and the Emperor come, and you pretty much can't defeat them, and you just have to run away and hope you get all your spoils. Still, it didn't seem very likable aspect of the gameplay to me.
Okay, so between the two pirate games we're looking at, Skull and Bones and Sea of Thieves, which one are you leaning?
I couldn't say I would lean one way or the other. I think Skull and Bones definitely is a prettier game.
Okay.
It just visually it looked really outstanding.
Oh yeah, it looks lifelike.
Yeah,
you see the rocks and everything. And
unbelievable. But I think the co-op aspect of Sea of Thieves is a little bit more endearing to me than
yeah. I think I'm leaning towards Sea of Thieves just because I've been excited about it forever. But I'd rather be a single character on the screen who has to do tasks on the boat and not somebody who controls the whole boat and everything's scripted. Because it seems like everything's scripted on these boats. You're the captain. You just tell everybody what to do. But in Sea of Thieves, you don't actually have a captain. Everybody has to kind of figure out their role as you go.
Right.
So it's I think that's more fun and more realistic in the sense of the gameplay aspect. So I just think it'd be more fun to be.
I think I might need to, and I'm not a big proponent of Assassin's Creed games, but I think I might need to play Black Flag to see if I would enjoy Skull and Bones.
That could be a safe bet.
It really does look like Black Flag, though. It really, really does.
I think they actually said in the announcement or the conference that they basically took the engine from Black Flag and tried to make a full-on pirate game.
Yeah, because they definitely do specifically mention working on Black Flag. So yeah, I think you got the right idea there. So again, we've been trying to get you to play Black Flag, so I think this could be your. Well, then again, if you want a sort of a test run, Black Flag might be the way to go.
Right.
Get your ship and see how you feel about the combat, and if you like that enough to be a full-fledged game out of it, then keep your eyes on Skull and Bones.
Right. I feel like I've heard that you can get to a point where you can pretty much do the naval combat at will anytime you want to in Black Flag, where you don't have to actually play like the Assassin's Creed part of it. So I have to get it to that point, I think. But I think I'm going to give it a whirl because this does look interesting to me.
Yeah,
It does seem like, as far as pirate games go right now, though, I feel like there's not been a lot of talk about Black Flag in this, even after that's being revealed on here. I feel like the real game that everybody wants is going to be Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
But I mean, that remains to be seen. It could be Skull and Bones ends up being the real deal. I mean, if it is, I might have to get a PlayStation.
I mean, I feel like they're playing towards different audiences, and I don't think Skull and Bones is exclusive to PlayStation. I think because it's Ubisoft. I think they went.
Yeah, I think you can get that on Xbox One X if you want. Yeah.
Because it wasn't in the Sony conference. It was at Ubisoft's conference. Ubisoft's third party, so I think they go to both systems.
I will probably end up getting both, just because I'm, ARG. But yeah, I'll probably end up getting both. We'll see.
All right. Well, we'll come back to you later and see what you think of both of those.
Yeah, we can do like a pirate game review
a what?
Podcast. ARG.
I really have to use that for the intro now. Otherwise, people are going to have no idea what the fuck you're doing.
Well,
with all these
you gotta have me back whenever both these pirate games come out.
Yeah, ARG.
Yeah, because Jeff's got the inside scoop, so we got to see how this plays out from him being with this game from the beginning. The only other one for me from Ubisoft is I'm a fan of the Far Cry franchise, so Far Cry 5 I think looks incredible.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I don't think I've played any of those since we played the multiplayer of the one where you turn into a beast on an island or something.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, most of them, the earlier ones were all set on, like, exotic islands and jungles and stuff like that. Right. Far Cry 4 was, like, Himalayan mountains, so that was a little bit different as far as the setting. This one, Far Cry 5, is set in Montana. So that's another change of setting, which I think actually looks really cool and definitely different as far as like mountains and jungle. You're just going to be in like the plains of Montana, so that actually looks kind of cool. And you have to fight up against like a fanatic, like religious cult, which seems interesting. And the one trailer I think they showed talks about like AI controlled allies and possibly even more co-op, which I think they brought into Far Cry 4. You could team up with a friend and do missions and stuff like that. So except it's a little bit restrictive. I think on Far Cry 4 you could team up with a friend online, except they wouldn't let you do main story quests together. You could do side missions, but not the main story stuff. So hopefully they give you a little bit more freedom with co-op in Far Cry 5. But still, being able to play with some friends looks cool. And then like you get like a dog companion, I think too, that looked like it would retrieve weapons for you, which looked pretty cool.
Dog meat.
Yeah, I don't think that's the name of the dog.
No,
it is in Fallout 4.
Oh, I get you. Yeah, okay. Sorry.
I'm looking for Far Cry 4 in the sale because I want to get some Far Cry under my belt because this Far Cry 5 is definitely going to be a purchase for me. So I'm looking to play Far Cry 4 in the meantime because I've never played one, so I really don't know what the mechanics are.
Yeah, it's a big open world. Far Cry 4 is actually pretty slick. I've seen it on sale a couple of times, Jeff, through Xbox. Like I bought I think it was around Christmas, maybe when they had their real big sale. But I bought the Gold Edition, I think, or whatever edition it was that came with all the DLC. It was like $24.
Yeah, I'm debating on whether I should do PC or Xbox for it.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I'd recommend it. I think they're really fun. There's a lot to do. It might take you a while if you try to do all the side missions and stuff too, because there's a lot to unlock and get.
I'm working my way through the original Red Dead as well because I'm looking forward to Red Dead 2. Oh,
that's got to be a big long game to tackle too. There's always a lot to do in those Rockstar games.
My guy's stuck in Mexico right now.
Anything else for you guys from Ubisoft?
I saw that they announced or showed more stuff for the South Park game. It seems like that's been an ongoing thing.
I think that was like 2 years ago they talked about that.
Did you guys play the first one?
The Stick of Truth or whatever?
Yep.
I've heard really good things about it, but I did not get a chance to play it.
Yeah, I have it, and I tried to get into it. It seems almost like it's like a 2D, kind of like a Skyrim almost. Not the complexity and vastness of Skyrim, but in the sense that you go on quests for NPC characters.
Yeah, so I've heard it was sort of a South Park RPG.
Yeah.
Which I think is the way this one looks too.
The combat is a little bit annoying too. It's got the turn-based combat. So
okay, so it's Final Fantasy type.
Yeah.
Not the new Final Fantasy, the old Final Fantasy.
So I never made it past like first probably hour of that game. I feel bad because I do really like South Park, so kind of torn on the next one. I don't know if I'll buy it or not.
So you have to be pretty patient with it. It sounds like.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot to explore and there's a lot to loot. I mean, it seems like everywhere you go, everything you can open, you get various loot items and things like that. So I'm just not sure if I want to just do a collectathon like game where I have to click all kinds of different things, especially with a controller. I could see with a mouse maybe I would be a little bit more apt to doing that, but
yeah, I don't know how I feel about that game. It looks funny. I just don't know if the gameplay style is for me. Like,
well, that's
watching the
that
trailers, I think
it
looks hilarious.
Is that Stick of Truth wasn't that funny? So
okay.
I mean I didn't play a ton of it, but it had all the South Park characters and it had the occasional stupid joke or something, but it wasn't like leg slapping hilarious or anything like that.
Gotcha. Okay. Anything else from you guys, or we'll move on to Sony?
Sony.
All right, on with Sony.
Spider-Man.
Sony had yeah, that's basically it. But yeah, when I was watching their conference, I was actually a little disappointed with I think how their event. I thought it was really boring. They just ended up showing like trailer after trailer. They didn't really have a lot of people explain the games and details about the games. They could have put
their foot on the neck of Microsoft, and they didn't.
Yeah.
They really had everything handed over to them.
And a lot of stuff I really thought they'd talk about and spend time on, like Last of Us 2, they didn't talk about. Death Stranding was not there. The rebooted Crash Bandicoot was not there. They did not talk about their timed exclusive deals with Call of Duty and Destiny 2. They just showed trailers for both, and that was it.
I heard they didn't even touch Gran Turismo, which is getting a release later this year.
Like I felt like they really dropped the ball with what they could have showed and talked about.
I feel like Days Gone looked pretty good, but it is your standard zombie whatever. But
and that's the other thing.
Even the way that the zombies run is kind of cool, though. That is a little bit different.
Well, the other thing I just want to add too is that the games that looked interesting that I thought, like Days Gone and a few other ones, none of them, like God of War and stuff too, they're not even released this year. They're all 2018. So you're getting people hyped for these games that aren't even going to come out this holiday season. Like that's a strike for me.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Are they going to be talking about these games next year because they might get delayed?
Right. Yeah.
Like they've been talking about Cuphead how many times? But this Monster Hunter World, it kind of felt like a cheap ripoff of Anthem. Whenever I saw it,
well, the Monster Hunter franchise, I think, has been around for a while.
It's been around for a long time, yeah.
But
it more
just doesn't seem as like exciting as
Magic and Medieval, though, than like Anthem is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like a world where you hunt all these monsters and animals and stuff, and it's just everybody's got the same thing going on here.
Well, you can tell the audience, especially for like the Sony games, there was a lot more like Japanese style anime games than were at like say like Microsoft's press conference and stuff like that. So they definitely have, I think, an audience because I don't think Microsoft systems sell very well in Japan and stuff like that. So Sony knows their market and who they can sell to and stuff like that. So I think they had games tailored to the Japanese market and stuff like that. But just like you guys mentioned, Spider-Man for me looked fucking incredible. I think that stole the show for Sony. That was the only game for me that looked really good for Sony's console. And I know Romano hates me bringing it up because I think Eric and I were trying to get him to get an Xbox to play with us for a while, and he traded in his PS4 to get an Xbox, which, for the record, I never told him to trade in the PS4. I just wanted him to get an Xbox when it was cheap. But yeah, he traded in his PS4, and immediately after he did that was right around E3 last year, I think. So that was when they announced Spider-Man. So he cussed me out for a little while after that.
He still might be.
Yeah. I sent him or showed him the gameplay video they put out, and I just tried to get him not to hate me. And, it still looks good.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it here.
Yeah, it was like 8 or 9 minutes of some really good-looking combat, I think, that they did.
Here it is.
I mean, they have some QuickTime events, which I guess is sort of expected. I'm not real crazy about QuickTime events in certain games.
I don't like that much.
But I liked that, like, the way the combat looked and felt. It looked a little bit like Batman, the Arkham games, the way that combat seemed to work. And then even while he's fighting, you could sort of see the cursor like pop up on different things in the background, like a barrel or some sort of crane swing or something. So Spider-Man can like interact with the environment when he's fighting people and like web something to bring into the fight and hit somebody with or something like that. Like all that shit looked really cool.
Yeah. I definitely think this looks great. I actually had only watched a little bit of this before, but I'm seeing the actual gameplay here. And this looks pretty amazing. Right yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty slick. But then they even teased Miles Morales at the end of that. So for Spider-Man fans, that's a little Easter egg out there for you. I don't know what role he'll play in the game, but they got him in there. So, oh, you know what? We didn't talk about. I'm really off topic now because we didn't touch on this for the Microsoft press conference, but it just jogged my memory that we did not cover this, and I just want to get your opinion. Microsoft is extending their backwards compatibility program to include original Xbox games, which I thought was pretty crazy. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
So what? So you're saying that you could play Morrowind on Xbox One?
They haven't announced what games are part of it. The only one they officially said is part of the program is Crimson Skies. Which, Crimson Skies is a fucking awesome game. Like, I'm actually... my buddy Pat and I were talking about that actually not too long ago. So any excuse to actually boot that game up and still be able to play it, I think is going to be awesome.
I'm just a little bit... I don't know. The thing is, most of the games that were worth bringing back or remastering have been brought back or remastered.
True.
I mean, a lot of people say, oh, that'll be great. We can play Halo 2 with System Link. I mean, are they really going to allow Halo 2 to be backwards compatible when the Master Chief Collection exists with a full game of Halo 2 on it? And two, do you really even need System Link these days? I mean, everybody says to me lately, because a lot of people that I knew in college are saying, why not, like, oh my gosh, we can start playing on Team X-Link and XB Connect again. But I don't think those services are necessary whenever you've got Looking for Group on Master Chief's Collection.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go with it.
Because, I mean, if you want to find random players to play with you, you could advertise on there and you can get a weird game mode. So, I don't know if you really need that anymore, right? That's the thing. And pretty much everybody's got that game now. So, I don't really know how to feel about it. Because I can't really think of any games specifically that I played on the Xbox that were so out of this world good that I want to play them again. I mean, maybe Fusion Frenzy, the original. Maybe I played this Ninja Turtles game that I really liked. But that's not internet capable. It's couch co-op, and I never see anybody in real life ever. So I'm not really sure, what games I would even want to pick up at some thrift store or something,
Yeah, I think Crimson Skies for me was enough to get excited for it. I know there was another game or two that I was thinking I had in my collection, but for the life of me, I can't think about what they are right now. I'd have to dig out all my old Xbox games. Oh, Burnout 3. I would love it if they allowed Burnout 3 to be playable on Xbox One. Was
that the whole Crash?
Yes, they had the best Crash mode ever.
Yeah.
That was back on original Xbox, and you could actually play that game on Xbox 360. So I would actually boot that up and play that occasionally. So if they bring that all the way up to Xbox One, you can be damn sure I'll be playing that again at some point. But I think those are the two for me, Crimson Skies and Burnout 3. I think those are the two that I'd be really excited about to play on Xbox One. I don't know, Andy, is there any old Xbox games you can think of that you might be interested to play if they brought them up?
Maybe Morrowind.
Okay. Did you I can't remember if you had an actual original Xbox.
Didn't. I pretty much got all my Xbox experience from you.
Okay. Now I'm trying to remember what the hell what I had that we would have played back then.
We played a shit ton of Burnout 3.
I remember that being the party game for a while.
Yeah.
Like I would just have people over because you could do 8 people and you could just take turns.
Didn't you have a game called Time Splitters or something that we played a lot of?
Oh,
that's what a lot of people said too.
Yeah.
A lot of people said Time Splitters was their game they wanted brought back.
That was fun.
And even Dead or Alive 3 for Xbox.
That was
I think that is still one of the best fighting games I've ever played.
Not a huge fan of the 3D fighting games. I'm more of like a Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, depth.
Right.
I think my problem is that Xbox was a Halo 2 machine for me.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I can't really think of many games I played because I really didn't. Other than that Ninja Turtle game, that's about it. So for me, it's not going to really work that well. I mean, it's not going to be exciting for me, but I can see how some people that have some of these old games would definitely want that. I mean, I think it's cool that Microsoft's always pushing the limit, always trying to offer more options for people. Where it feels like Sony's always trying to take things away. Same with Nintendo. They're always trying to take things away and block you from doing things.
Or make you own the same game on every console you get.
Yeah.
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 Like, not everything should be a sales opportunity. And I think it's cool that Microsoft is like, hey, the more crap we offer these people, they might buy our system. So.
Well, it just makes me feel better being sort of the hoarder that I am and keeping all these old games that are just sort of collecting dust. Now I have a reason to bring them back out and don't have to buy them again. Even though I could probably find them for like $5 somewhere, but still.
I'm still annoyed that little mini Battlefield game, Battlefield 1943, they never brought that from 360 up to Xbox One.
That was a great game. I mean, there were only 4 maps or whatever, but it was fun as hell.
And I don't see why they don't do that, because if you boot up a 360 right now, they still have servers. So it's kind of strange that they wouldn't make that one of the backwards compatible games for 360.
Huh. I guess they have enough other Battlefield games out there. They want people to buy those and not the older ones.
I'd rebuy it, honestly. If they told me I had to buy it again, I would.
You got that game free if you bought one of the other Battlefields, though, right?
I don't know. It was $15.
There was like a package or something.
Yeah, it was a cheaper arcade game at the time. I think it came out.
Because it was multiplayer only, I mean, that's how you sell a multiplayer only game. Come on, EA knows the way to do it, and they put out Battlefront. Battlefront should have been probably $30, honestly.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, I know I sidetracked us from Sony into Xbox, but I'm going to bring us back down to Sony again.
You can just reorder it in post.
Anything else besides Spider-Man that caught on to you guys from Sony's conference?
Well, I said Days Gone for sure. I was excited, but everything else is kind of whatever. I never played Shadow of the Colossus, so I don't even know anything about that.
Yeah, I know they got a lot of hype for making like an HD remake or like a proper HD remake to that game or something like that. But yeah, that's one of those games that is considered classic. Everybody loves it, but I never played it and never really saw the appeal, so I never went for it. But I know there's an audience for it, so I guess we'll see how it sells.
Yeah, looks like they're going to do an expansion for Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a pretty big deal, I guess, because it's a pretty big game this past year.
I feel like that's expected. That's one of their bigger titles that seem to get a lot of hype and reviewed really well.
Yeah, and then it looks like Uncharted gets a little mini. I don't know if it's an add-on or if it's just a mini game.
Yeah, it seems to be
story mode.
Yeah, it seems to be their own thing. Yeah, I'm not sure now if it's a separate game or an add-on to Uncharted 4, but I've been trying to avoid it only because I'm afraid that story might contain spoilers for Uncharted 4, and I don't have a PS4 to play Uncharted 4, so I'm still trying to get there, because that is one title I definitely still want to get into and play, because I love that series. The Uncharted series is one of my favorites. But I still can't justify buying a PS4 just to play Uncharted. I know God of War is another big one. I don't know if you guys ever played the God of War franchise at all.
I tried to play it. It just that type of game really doesn't have much replayability for me.
Okay. Jeff, did you ever get into God of War?
No, I never had it.
Yeah, that's another one for me that I guess more because I was leaning towards Microsoft and Xbox. I never got into a lot of the the PlayStation exclusives, like God of War I never played. Yeah, I don't know. I know there's an audience for it. I know people are looking forward to it. Graphically, it looks really cool. I'm curious to see how the mechanics work if you're trolling around with your, I guess, Kratos' son for this story. And the monster battles always look crazy as hell, so I'm sure it's going to be cool. But again, that's another one that it's a big release for them, and they pushed it until 2018. So I don't even remember what they showed that's actually coming out this year. Because I don't think there was too much there that I felt like I got excited about. Because Spider-Man's 2018, God of War's 2018, Days Gone's 2018. I don't know.
Yeah, that's too bad. I mean, I feel like everything fun's been pushed back. And everything that I was kind of half and half on buying is earlier, actually.
Well, I guess they don't need to really, like Sony's the one that like their back is not against the wall. They're still selling the most systems every month. They're still making money off the PS4. So I don't think they're too worried about their game lineup and what they have coming.
They've been able to make Battlefront look like it's an exclusive, even though it isn't.
Yeah.
So they're pretty happy with that because they can't even advertise that it is on Xbox One. So I think
you're getting every commercial you see has the PlayStation
poor.
logo on it before it shows any type of gameplay or commercial or anything. So
yep.
I
mean, that's a good tactic for them, but I hate
it. Yeah, it makes good business sense. But
I mean, it looks
Xbox
like this fall.
fanboys,
This fall, it's basically going to be Far Cry 5 and Battlefront and Call of Duty World War II, right? And then
Destiny's in September too.
Yeah, well, that's one thing I don't play. So,
well, I know that's going to be big. I'm definitely going to get Destiny too. I think I'm excited for that one.
Yeah,
between that and Battlefront, those are the two that I'm really hyped about.
Huh.
I don't know. Anything final thoughts for Sony? We'll try to cover Nintendo real quick before Andy's got to skedaddle.
Skedaddle.
Nothing. All right. Last one we'll talk about Nintendo. I mean, they don't.
I think the most exciting thing was Kirby. I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say, did I miss Kirby? I don't remember seeing Kirby.
Yeah, there's a Kirby game coming in 2018
for the Switch or like 3DS or something.
For the Switch.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, I guess traditionally Nintendo doesn't really do like a conference. They sort of just do their own type of briefing online. It seemed like they were just showing gameplay, I think, in trailers.
Yeah, and they had
stuff.
some sit downs with some people for like the new Yoshi. They had this girl playing it.
Okay.
Pretty cool. I think Yoshi looks great. Honestly, I'm excited for it, but it looks like it's not going to be 2018 as well. So.
All right. Yeah, I was still trying to catch up on Nintendo videos prior to doing the show, so I know I didn't watch enough.
Yeah,
I watched a little bit on Mario
World,
Audio.
it's like Yoshi's Papercraft World.
Oh, okay.
So it looks neat. I'm just not sure if I would buy a Switch for it. I know my wife might be interested in Yoshi. She loves Yoshi's Island and stuff like that. So
yeah.
But I mean, the thing is, what annoys me is there's no backwards compatibility kind of stuff going on. So I mean, if I could promise her that she could play this new Yoshi and the original Yoshi's Island, we could probably get a Switch and she would probably play with it. But
yeah, I haven't heard. I mean, the Switch has been out for a while, and I haven't heard too many like killer apps for it. The only thing everybody seems to talk about is Zelda. Zelda seems to be awesome for that system.
Yeah.
But
well, you got the new Mario Odyssey coming out, so I mean that could be the new additional killer app.
Which that thing, like I watched the trailer for that. That just looks kind of weird, like being able to inhabit the body of enemies and do stuff. Like I don't know.
That's exactly how I feel. And I think it was I don't know if it was The Verge or Kotaku. They had an article about that and just how weird it actually is. If you really think about how, I mean, he takes control of like a human being man in one part in that trailer, and it's just super creepy because I don't think the dude comes back. I think he dies. So it's like, you know, this is like a really morbid game.
So is it kind of like the ending of The Matrix where he jumps into Agent Smith?
And you know what? I saw that joke a bunch of places where they had a scene from The Matrix where the guy takes over the guy that's a helicopter pilot. He's kind of struggling in the cockpit.
Yeah.
And then he turns into Smith, but he's got the hat with the two eyes on it.
It's me, Mario.
And they said that too. That's why he says that so much, because he takes control of you.
It all makes sense now.
I think it just seems really odd, and I don't know if I can get past that gameplay mechanic.
Invader the Body Snatchers, but with Mario.
And I think one of the biggest things I didn't like from the trailer was the actual singing in the song. Like that just doesn't jive with me with Nintendo. I mean, they've never had any actual lyrics to a song.
You need nothing special for a Mario trailer. Just play the fucking Mario Brothers theme song.
You need no voice at all. I mean, the creepiest thing I remember, when I had a Wii and I'd play Mario Kart, if you played as just your avatar, they had like this goofy voice that was like, "Hey, oh," it was like so creepy. So I mean, I just don't think that the only human being character, and I'm putting my fingers up for quotes, should be Mario. Honestly,
Luigi. You're not even going to give it to Luigi.
Well, he's not in a Mario game, so I mean, unless it's Luigi's Mansion or something like that.
You always got to have the sidekick. Luigi shows up at some point.
I'm just saying, like we don't need. I don't know. The game seems so odd to me. I don't know if I could get past it.
Yeah.
It's not like I see Zelda and I think I want to play that. That looks like a Zelda game. It's also open world. I want to play that thing. I see this and I'm like, what even is this?
Right when you think it looks really good, like Mario 64, he starts jumping into people's bodies, and you're like, nope, that's not what I thought it was. Andy, before you go, anything stuck out to you?
No.
Well, there's new, Metroid for 3DS.
Oh, they did announce 2 Metroid games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3DS game and then Metroid Prime 4, which I watched the trailer for Prime 4 thinking they'd show some gameplay. They didn't. It was basically just a title reveal, so I don't know how much they have for that one. Or
were you guys big Metroid fans?
I played it. I wouldn't say I was really much of a fan.
Yeah, I mean, I like the series. I remember playing it for like Nintendo and Super Nintendo. I never actually played any of the Prime games for, GameCube were they on?
Yes.
Yeah, I had a chance to play it on GameCube a bit. It seemed very lonely. Almost like some of the worst parts of Halo, where you never ran into anybody for like an hour.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was strange.
Okay. Yeah, that was one I never really got into. But again, I know there's people that like that are out there, so I'm sure Metroid Prime 4 got people excited. And
looked like we got another cross-play game, Rocket League. Will be,
that's right. Yeah.
Able to play Xbox and PC players while you're playing Rocket League.
I love me some Rocket League, so I'm
that
pretty excited.
That would be pretty cool on a mobile device, honestly. I might be interested now with Rocket League on there, now that I think about it.
What, for getting the Switch?
Yeah. Because that is the kind of game where you're like, I got an hour to kill, I'll just sit down and play this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's I can't talk enough about Rocket League. It's so much fun. I don't know, any final thoughts for Nintendo, or I have 2 sort of real quick questions to kind of wrap up, and then we'll see if we're good.
Okay.
Out of all the stuff we talked about, give me your top 2 or 3 games that you think you are looking forward to. We'll just start with Andy.
Sea of Thieves.
Okay.
Skull and Bones.
Figures.
Art.
And, what other game looked really good?
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Yeah, I can't come up with it right now.
Okay, we'll come back to you for number 3.
I didn't know there would be a quiz at the end.
Jeff, you got 3 games you can talk about that you liked?
Well, let's just talk about, I mean, most of the stuff that I'm excited about was already announced before E3. So I already knew Gears. I knew that Call of Duty World War II was coming out. I'm definitely going to be buying that. I already knew Battlefront 2 is coming out. I'm definitely going to be buying that.
Oh, Battlefront 2. That's it. Jesus, how did I forget that?
I'm sorry. Battlefront 2. But, the one thing that did get me excited about PlayStation, which is hard to do, is Days Gone did look really cool to me with just the way those zombies moved and everything and how cool that looked. So, I mean, that if I was going to get a PlayStation, I would say that's probably the reason why, is just for that game. But as far as the rest of the stuff for Sony, I really didn't see too much. But, I mean, there's a couple interesting things, though, like that, what's it called? The Good and Evil, Beyond
Good and Evil 2.
I mean, I didn't even know that series existed. And now I'm looking at it, I'm like, I got to check that out when it comes out. But who knows? I mean, it might end up looking really stupid. But yeah, most of the stuff that I'm excited about, I already knew about. Far Cry 5, So I don't really know what in particular I saw in this E3 that I was even like wowed by.
Okay.
Really, the only thing I didn't know going in was going to be the price of the Xbox One X and its name. And both disappointed me. So I don't know. And then also I wanted to see if these release date, and we didn't get that, and it's also pushed to 2018. So overall, I got to say this is pretty disappointing E3.
Okay, fair enough. 3 games for me: Battlefront 2, obviously. Anthem came out of nowhere for me. I love BioWare, and Anthem I think looks awesome. And I think I'm just excited to try Battlegrounds for Xbox. I think those would probably be my 3.
Okay.
And then just real quick, if you had to pick a winner for E3, who would it be? Whether game or publisher or, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, any one of those.
I would say that definitely, I think Sony's current position in the market makes them a winner by default. But as far as E3 goes, in gaining something out of this, I think Microsoft really they had the most mind share, I'd say, just because they released a new console. New hardware seems like it's always the thing that makes everybody talk about you.
Right.
I think that seeing more details about the Mario game, though, seems like it really made people want to talk about Nintendo, though. So I would say it's as close as a three-way tie as you can get. But I think Microsoft does come out ahead just from having hardware.
Okay. I would agree. The Xbox One X release announcement probably put Microsoft ahead.
Yeah, I think I'm with you guys. I agree. I if I would pick in someone, I'd hands down say Microsoft. I mentioned how disappointed I was with Sony's press conference. With years past, I feel like Microsoft comes out of the gate strong, and then like the next night or later that night when Sony has their conference, they blow them out of the water. I did not feel that way this year. I got really bored with Sony's conference. I didn't think they showed me anything especially anything coming out this year that looked interesting. Nothing that made me want to go out and hurry up and buy a PS4, maybe besides Spider-Man, but I still can't pull the trigger on that. But yeah, I think the Xbox One X is enough to get people hyped. I think it looks good. I'm curious to see how it sells and what the reviews look like once it comes out, but that's definitely one I'll be keeping my eyes on. I don't know, any final thoughts real quick? Otherwise, we're going to wrap up and get Andy, let him go.
Seems like we're delaying games a lot. That's my one takeaway.
Yeah.
I'd rather them do that and have it right than release an Assassin's Creed Unity.
Yeah, but
I mean, Batman for PC.
Oh yeah, Arkham Knight was real bad on PC when it came out.
Yeah,
but I would say maybe they need to stop announcing stuff so far out in advance.
They do that with anything, movies, video games, everything.
Yeah, but at least with a movie, you kind of have an excuse because you do have to film the thing and everything. Like games, it's a lot less obvious when there's a delay that you see a benefit from it.
Oh yeah, when there's a 3 to 5 year development cycle and stuff for games, you can't predict that far in the future when you're going to release. Just wait till it's done and tell us it's coming.
Yeah. Like those guys making Cuphead, I mean, they needed the money from Kickstarter. So, I mean, that makes sense. But as far as Sea of Thieves, I'm kind of really annoyed that I've known about this for so long. Because I think I would have been a lot more excited if I found out about this in the fall when it came out in the spring.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, if they could hush up some of these announcements and then announce it months before these things exist, I think it would be a step in the right direction for all of us gamers.
Well, at the same time, I think that's how they generate hype for their studios. Like if they come to the stockholders and say, "This is what we're working on, this is what we want to market, and this is what we want to push," that entitles them to finish the game. If they just work on this stuff in secret and no one knows what people are going to think about a game until it's released and it could hit or miss, it's, I feel like you'd have a lot more studios going under that way. They release a game that flops because no one knows about it and no one's looking forward to it. Generating that hype, I think, helps developers finish their games. That's my takeaway, anyway.
Yeah, nobody wants to be No Man's Sky.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I said, that Sea of Thieves might end up being No Man's Sea.
I hope not.
I still want to try No Man's Sky, though.
Well, you're the one with the PS4. Go for it. All right, so that's where we'll wrap up. I actually think it was a pretty successful E3 podcast. I think we did a pretty good job this time. So kudos to you guys for sticking it out, and I think we had a good time. Right. So if you enjoyed the show, please stop by iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating and review. Be sure to share, subscribe, favorite the show wherever you decide to listen to us at. As always, you can find us on Facebook, search for Bry Guy and his Super Friends, or go to facebook.com/Bry Guy Super Friends. And one last time, if you want to send us some questions, comments, topics, even if not for the 100th, just in general, you can, shoot us something on the Facebook page, email us, bryguysuperfriends@gmail.com, or on Twitter, @BGSuperFriends. All of that stuff will work. And that's about it for us. On behalf of Andy, Jeff, and myself, thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time. That's a perfect ending.